In this video, we explore 15 of the most bizarre things ever discovered inside a human body, some of which are so strange that they sound like they came straight out of a science fiction horror film. For example, there was a case where a tree began to grow inside someone's lung, and another that involved the shocking discovery of a stone baby that had been hidden inside a woman's body for 60 years. Doubtful signs. Unintentionally swallowing a fish is not as common as it may seem. It sounds ridiculous, but it really happened to Anil Bella, a 12-year-old boy from India. It started as a simple prank to make his classmates laugh. Inhaling a live fish was first something Anil thought would be hilarious, but it quickly became a medical emergency. One can only imagine the terror and fear that seized him as the fish became lodged in his lung, causing him to gasp for breath and find it difficult to breathe. Anil was taken to the hospital without delay.
Anil was rushed to the hospital
After a thorough
immediately,
evaluation,
and after he had
they
been
determined
carefully
that
examined,
surgical removal of the fish was the only choice. The operation was challenging, but the competent medical staff successfully removed the fish without any additional issues. Thankfully, Anil made a full recovery and was able to go back to his normal life. It's safe to say he won't be trying any risky stunts like that again. Honestly, some jokes aren't worth the risk, because they could go horribly wrong. But how do you explain a plant growing in a person's body? Ear plant. Have you ever had an ear infection that just wouldn't go away? Now imagine discovering it wasn't an infection at all. That's exactly what happened to a 16-month-old girl in Beijing. For almost 4 months, her parents were confused and worried because no treatment seemed to work. They didn't know what was causing her discomfort. It turned out to be something they totally weren't expecting. A dandelion seed had somehow gotten lodged in her ear canal, and the warm, damp environment inside her ear created the perfect conditions for it to grow. Her ear became like a tiny greenhouse, and the seed just began to sprout and thrive. By the time doctors discovered the problem, the little plant had grown to nearly an inch in length, and it was causing a lot of pain. Thankfully, surgeons were able to remove the sprouted plant during a quick and straightforward procedure. Bet she'll never go anywhere near a seed ever again. In this next case, however, it took about 6 decades to find out exactly what the problem was. For a stone infant, what should have been a regular checkup became a frightening. Surprisingly, a 90-year-old Chinese woman named H. Yijun had a stone baby during an examination. This unusual condition, known as lithopedion, happens when a fetus from a miscarriage calcifies instead of being absorbed by the body. The most astonishing aspect is that H. Yijun had no symptoms whatsoever during that entire 60 years. No pain, discomfort, or health problems, and led a perfectly normal life. Fortunately, the stone baby was safely removed during a surgical procedure, and H. Yijun made a full recovery and got back to her normal routine. This case demonstrates that spiders can hide just about anywhere, even in the intestines. While on vacation, a 21-year-old Australian called Dylan Thomas had an unforgettable yet horrifying encounter. One Saturday morning, he awoke to find a strange 2-in-red trail on his torso starting from his stomach. By later that day, the red lawn had grown and had traveled 2 or 3 more inches across his body. The young man became worried and decided to see a doctor on Sunday, he was told. It was likely an insect bite and was given cream to treat it. However, by Monday morning, the red line had worsened and started blistering, and Dylan became even more concerned. He went to a dermatologist who feared it might be something more serious. Doctors at the Bali International Medical Center eventually had to perform surgery to investigate. To everyone's shock, they discovered a tiny spider about the size of a match head burrowed under his skin, and apparently it had entered his body through an old appendix scar. After further examination, medical experts began to suspect that the creature might not have been a spider at all, but possibly a parasitic mite, whatever it was. Hopefully it didn't cause any long-term damage, at least that was just one spider. What if a person's ear gets occupied by a swarm of maggots? Maggot invasion. A 92-year-old woman experienced a shocking medical issue when doctors discovered 57 maggots living in her ear. Medical experts believed that a fly had crawled into her ear and laid eggs, which later hatched. Fortunately, the maggots were removed. And she recovered in India. A man faced an even more horrifying situation. He arrived at the hospital complaining of severe ear pain upon examination. Doctors found hundreds of maggot larvae feeding on his flesh. If they were left untreated, the maggots could have burrowed into his brain and caused fatal damage. Thankfully, medical intervention saved his life. Meanwhile, Relly Harris from England returned home from a trip to Peru and began experiencing unusual symptoms. She heard scratching sounds in her head, felt pain in her face, and suffered from severe headaches. Initially, medics felt it was a regular ear infection. However, they soon discovered several maggots deep inside her ear. Removing them was exceedingly tricky since the maggots only withdrew further into her ear canal when doctors tried to take them. These maggots finally produced a hole in her ear canal, and it's still unknown whether her hearing ever remained the same. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible stories. Let us know in the comments which case shocked you the most, or if you've heard of any other bizarre medical discoveries. See you in the future video.